everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron Recap. Kevin Walsh alongside Jersey Joe Archino and Ian Sachs, both reporting for the Jets and the Giants for ESPN Radio Albany. Now, Week 12, a tale of two completely different stories for these groups. We'll start with the Jets, a much-needed victory over the Miami Dolphins. When we look at Ryan Fitzpatrick, the 4-touchdown performance coming off the thumb surgery, I mean, you really couldn't have asked for any more from the quarterback.
4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He said it himself. He said that I really played well. I didn't try to force things, and that was so evident. And plus, he had some great receiving performances on the other side of the ball. You have Brandon Marshall with another 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns. Eric Decker, of course, the great number 2 there. And Devin Smith really coming into his own after the Houston game where he couldn't catch a ball. Everyone was doubting the Jets picking him. But you know what? 2 catches, 1 touchdown right before halftime. Big for giving the Jets momentum going into the second half in that 18-point win over the Miami Dolphins. So he's got some great players to throw to, and he's not forcing it. He's doing a great job. Ryan Fitzpatrick really controlling this Jets offense.
We had some guys really step up today, but it's a game where you can't do it on your own. You need all 11, and so the second you think you can do it on your own is when you kind of press and get into some trouble. And so I thought, as a unit, especially from that last 2-minute drive on into the second half, we played well. Obviously,
Ryan Fitzpatrick's job is going to be made much easier when Chris Ivory runs the ball like he did, 21 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. It looked like Chris Ivory that was there the first 4 weeks of this season. How should people feel about Ivory now moving forward?
I think Ivory, even though he didn't clip 100 rushing yards, he really did have a good, solid game, and especially on that touchdown run, a 31-yard scamper into the end zone, broke about 4 or 5 tackles at the line of scrimmage, and then went untouched after that 30 yards. But he really showed that beast mode. And I think, everyone talks about Marshawn Lynch breaking tackles and everything. Chris Ivory did that, and I see everyone saw that bruising running game from him. That made Ryan Fitzpatrick and the passing game's job a lot easier. So I think that the Jets offense clicking in both facets.
Now, Joe, as far as the Giants go, probably one of the most disappointing performances any team has put out all season long. For that team to have the opportunity to create such separation in the division, coming off a bye week, to lose to the Redskins, now lose the division lead. Your thoughts on this overall performance by the Giants?
Well, I think you summed it up right there. It's really unacceptable when you look at everything. The division's being handed to them. Tony Romo out for the season. The Redskins had shown no sign of life. You look at the Eagles, they can't get things together. The Giants have this division, and it's theirs for the taking, and they're refusing to take it. Coming off the bye week and showing this performance, really, like I said at the top, it's unacceptable. The running game has really struggled to find its foothold. They just came out of the gate and just looked very weak. They didn't look organized. They didn't look like they had a clue. And it's really, you're struggling to find words to kind of explain what's happening with this team, because as we look to their second half and final push to the end of the season, they're going in the wrong direction. It really seemed like they were finding stability. Then they kind of come back down to the bad parts. Inconsistency has really defined the Giants season. Missing big plays, missing big opportunities. And right now, they're in a bad hole.
As much as you don't want to give credit to anyone after that unacceptable performance, the Giants defense, though, does deserve a little bit of a shout. 17 points they give up in the second quarter, but only 3 combined throughout the other 3 quarters. So a performance that is acceptable because the Giants are supposed to score more than 20 points. Your thoughts on the defense?
Well, I think that's one of the things that's been one of the biggest problems for the Giants is they've never had a game where all 3 phases were kind of all in total sync. There's either been a game where the offense has been there and the defense hasn't picked it up, or there's been a game where the defense has been outstanding and then the offense couldn't pick it up. It's just they've never had one dominant performance where everybody had it all together. That's been one of their biggest struggles, and I don't think until that happens, they'll really find that dominant consistency they're looking for.
Well, this week, the 2 teams are going to be meeting at MetLife Stadium. Ian, I'll start with you. Who gets the victory?
The Jets. Simple. They are playing so well, and I think that you really saw it in the last games last week. The way the two teams are going, the Jets with a great performance. I'd say potentially their best all-around game of the season. Just exactly what they needed, trying to make a playoff push. The Giants doing exactly what they don't need in the game against the Redskins. The Jets, and I'd say the Jets by about 10 points.
Joe, your thoughts?
I think 10-point Jets is exactly how I feel as well. I just think you can't reasonably look at what the Giants did last week and then think they're going to come into this game. Now, will they show a lot better life? This is a very emotional game. Of course, they're going to get up for this because, again, it's the Battle of MetLife Stadium. This is whose house is it going to be? But I just think right now, haven't seen the consistency in all phases from the Giants in one performance this season. My gut tells me go with the Jets.
Well, leave it to me to disagree. I actually like the Giants in this one. One thing about an inconsistent team is that when they're down, eventually they will come up. I expect the Giants to be much, much better on offense. I actually believe that Odell Beckham will have quite the game this week at MetLife, but we'll just have to see how things go. Jersey Joe Archino, Ian Sachs, Kevin Walsh. We'll see you guys next time.